Hello and welcome to your match build-up for West Ham United against Wolves. The Premier League's back and teams are out in 5-6 minutes. We think we know the team. If it is what we expect, there's a couple of big injuries for West Ham, but we'll wait for the official confirmation rather than discussing a rumour and then potentially having to discuss the actual lineup, which could be different. But if it's believed, then it's not good for West Ham, but we'll get on to that in a minute. Gonzo, earlier on, Watford won. Leicester won, last minute equaliser for Watford after going behind in the 89th minute. They scored in injury time. It's currently Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. So not great results so far, but certainly it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, it could be worse. The worry about Watford is the last minute nature of it. It shows a spirit, shows a resilience and never say die attitude, which is not really something I want them to have. It's because I want to finish above them in the league, naturally. I'm not... The Brighton one, I mean, they just looked awful, haven't they, Arsenal? I've not seen them today. Saw them the other day and they didn't look very good at all, but I guess the fact that they're just not resilient enough, or sorry, they don't have enough craft to break Brighton open, which you think is crazy with the sort of players that they've got. It's not particularly good anyway, but as you say, you know what? Watford didn't win. Brighton are not leading at the moment, touch wood, wherever that may be. And I'm getting more nervous as we get closer to it.
I was going to ask you that. How's your nerves then? How you feel? I've actually calmed down a bit. This morning I was really nervous, but now I'm pretty okay. I think it's because Watford didn't win. I feel a bit more relaxed now. And Brighton currently aren't winning. Although since the second half, they've probably been the better side. And Arsenal, in case those viewers don't know, Leno had to go off injured, so they've now got the substitute goalkeeper in goal. And I think that's given Brighton a bit of a lift actually. So they could still win this, but the draw for Watford sort of calmed me down a little bit. I feel there's a bit less pressure on us now.
Yeah, I don't think my nerves have... I don't think those results are playing any part in my nerves at all. I just think it's been a long time. I think it's just the natural pessimism of the West Ham fan that is starting to creep in. I was in a very different mood this morning, as you know, and I just think now it's more to do with what we do or what we don't do and our team and how we perform rather than Watford or anything like that. Because, well, you know what? It's in our hands. We win. It's not really an issue at all, is it? And I still think we can. I just wonder, I mean, you're going to announce it in a second when it's official. I just wonder about the severity of any injuries that are rumoured and the nature in which it's impacted whatever we were planning to do. Moyes would have been planning to do something today. I wonder how much the late changes have really impacted what he wanted to do.
I think one of the big changes, well, we might as well discuss them provisionally. We've got a couple of minutes to this lineup, but there's two big ones. The first big one's Declan Rice playing centre-back. Obona is not in the starting 11. Rice is there. He's planned for that. He knew this was coming. Yeah. If anything, his potential late changes, Obona's possibly now fit enough and he's just stuck with it. He said, no, we've planned for Declan Rice centre-back. We will keep Declan Rice centre-back. This is the back four we've been training with in training. This is the back four we played against Crystal Palace with. We're going to go with this. So I think that's... Well, what do you make of Declan Rice centre-back? I mean, we're going to miss him in the middle, but arguably he could actually be our best centre-back, which is strange as well, isn't it?
I've said more times than I can't remember. I think that's where he'll play a lot of his career. I think he's a better centre-half than a centre midfielder. I love the swashbuckling nature. I love the way he tries to grab a game by the scruff of the neck. You know, like when we're losing, we're not doing well, and he tries to drive forward. But I always feel that he is a defensive player trying to drive forward. Why? Because he's got more will to win than anybody else, basically. But actually, in terms of his skill for a central midfielder, is okay. His skill for a central defender is very good. He's a very skillful central midfielder in that sense. So I think he doesn't give up. I think there's a lot of qualities there at centre half. But I do agree with the first thing that you said. I think we will miss him from central midfield, and I definitely, if the team is as predicted, it's not a million miles away from what maybe you or I wanted to see. There's a lot of our guys in there, but what have you just seen?
Arsenal. Good goal as well.
That's good. Okay, good. It's not a million miles away from what we wanted to see, but I do feel the midfield is weakened by him not being in there.
Yeah.
I think it speaks volumes to how much trust Moyes is placing in Balbuena. If Balbuena don't get in today when Ogbonna ain't fit, then are we going to see much of Balbuena in the run-in, or even at all at West Ham? I'm not so
It'd
sure.
be interesting to see if Balbuena's on the bench, because apparently Cardoso's on the bench, so that would insinuate that either we've got two centre-backs or Balbuena's injured, which we'll find out in a few seconds. The Rice thing, the good positive is, we now have a leader in the back four. He will be in charge of that back four. He will be there. He'll be vocal. He'll be a ball-playing centre-back, and sometimes the one thing I wish he would do more of is play the ball forward, if you like, from a centre midfielder position. But as a centre back, that's not an issue. He will be able to play it to no ball, and that's considered playing it forward. He won't hoof it. I think Ogbonna is a bit hoofy. I think Ogbonna can go a bit direct sometimes. Although I think Moyes might instruct Declan Rice to go a bit long ball today, given the rest of the shape of the team and stuff. I think we're going to be trying to play counter-attacking, direct football, if you want to call it that, rather than long ball. So I think Declan Rice will be asked to try and do that pinpoint diagonals across the park and stuff. So I think there's a lot of benefits to having a centre back, but the big disadvantage is we're going to miss him in the middle of the park. But should we tighten that area up and Wolves play 3-4-3, which we'll find out, it does mean that we've got an extra man in there essentially with Souček and so on. So, crikey, they've put the team up as a West Ham put the team up as like a video now. It's a 45-second video with a lineup. That's not helpful, is it? I want the graphic. I don't want.
I know. They've stuck an advert in the middle.
it's probably sponsored by one of our partners, isn't it? It's going to be
absolutely. Yeah. Not that one though.
Right.
That one's
We've got Fabianski, Ngaki a right back, Diop, Rice. Let me just skip through this. Creswell, Souček, Noble, Bowen, Fornals, Anderson, Antonio. There you go. There's your starting 11. On the bench, pause the video. On the bench, we've got Randall, Balbuena, Yarmolenko, Lanzini, Wilshere, Fredericks, Ajeti, Silva, and Ben Johnson. I mean, what a bench that is. But the starting 11's what we expect. Now, it's apparently a 4-4-2. It looks like a 4-3-3. You've got the people for 4-3 here, but apparently it's 4-4-2. Which is how I thought we played against Southampton. I know you thought it was more of a 4-3-3, but I seen it as a 4-4-2 with Bowen and Antonio as Bowen and Fornals as the wide midfielders. And I think we're doing the same again today. I think that's what we're going to try and do. Go 4-4-2 and hit them with pace, if you like.
I mean, the only thing that... Well, there's lots of things. There's lots of talking points, obviously. The right back, more than any, really, as much as that. So
I'm pleased.
Yeah. I mean, Sebastian Haller must be injured, so would he have got the nod anyway? That's whilst I didn't want to start him, as you know, my choice was to start Antonio up front. I'd much rather Sebastian Haller to bring on the Jesse. That being said, it is a strong bench. It is a very good bench. The centre half is worrying me the more I think about it, because if there's one centre half you don't want to lose, it's the left-sided centre half. I don't mind a right-sided centre-half playing on the left if they're experienced, but you've got two I say inexperienced, probably you can find Diop's probably played 100 professional games, so let's get that right. But at centre-half, I wonder who's going to take up the left position.
Diop used to play there with Balbuena, didn't he? Because then this is why Diop got confused. When Ogbonna come in, Diop had to move over to the right, and it caused a little bit of confusion.
Yes, but he's not left-footed, and it's not ideal. So I do worry that might be an area of weakness for us. But if he's deemed that Rice is a better centre half than Balbuena, which he probably is, let's be fair, then so be it. The midfield, the middle of the park is going to be interesting. If it is a two, and we've got Rice and Noble and Souček in the middle. That can be overrun quite easily because it's slow. And if you've got Fornals in there, it's not like you've got three quick players. If you've got three players in there, it's harder to bypass. I hope he hasn't done that. I hope we don't see Fornals as the left winger. I would much rather see Anderson on the left. Who knows? I'm just glad. You know what, Geo? I'm saying all this now, and I'm saying it earlier. I'm glad he's not switched to the 3. You know, that's a good thing. He could have easily played Cresswell at left centre half in a 3 and done other things. So, mate, what can we do? You know, grin and bear it. Waste the next 50 minutes. Make ourselves a cup of tea and hope for the best. Really.
Yeah, I think the team's good. I'm actually pleased. I was very 50-50 between Fredericks and Ngaki in terms of a prediction and in terms of what I wanted. But when it's now it's an Ngakia, I feel better. I think, okay, I actually did want Ngakia, but I didn't realise I wanted Ngakia. That makes sense. When it's seen Ngakia, I thought, good, that's the right thing. It does show that that's Moyes' first choice right back, though, and this is a big statement by David Moyes. He's saying that's my right back, and now we're going to have a discussion after the game tomorrow onwards as to what we're going to do, because David Moyes is first choice right back, so we had to walk out on the club, and we're still going to have 6-7 games to play. That's not ideal, but the game itself. Wolves' team is, as predicted, bar Traore. Patricio's in goal. They've got a back three of Bowley, Cody and Saiz. They've got their wing backs of Doherty and Johnny. Midfield three of Moutinho, Neves and Dendoncker. And up front they've gone with a two up front, which is Jota and Jimenez. So it's a very predictable thing for Wolves. Traore is on the bench though, so they do have. He will come on. That is their game changer. Get Creswell a little bit tired, and then we'll bring on this guy. It's what they've done to us last season at London Stadium. Remember, Traore scored in the 92nd minute or something to score that goal because, well, Creswell was on his arse and he's slower than him anyway. But strong Wolves team. I expected Wolves team, but a very strong Wolves team.
Yeah. I mean, it does. I guess it is. I'm pleased that we're not seeing a Traore all game. I'm not sure how pleased Traore will be about it. I mean, it's got a solid feel in that middle because, I mean, we spoke yesterday on whatever video we did yesterday on the central midfielders of Neves and Moutinho not being box to box. You know, them sitting there, they're not really having a number 10. Well, if you put Dendoncker in there as well, then really they have three that are not going to move drastically from the centre of the pitch. So you're not going to find any of those three regularly popping up at centre forward or as wingers, you know. So they're going to sort of occupy that space an awful lot. It's going to be a congested area of the park, in which case, so I do think if it is two, then it's those three against our two. But let's try and be positive. If that's the case, and we will, if they are outnumbering us in midfield, we will outnumber them in other areas, and we may well outnumber them on the flanks. And if that's the case, then we've got to go there. So let's look at those flanks really. See if you've got Ngakia and Bowen. Yeah. That would be that's interesting. That's a developing. That's a brand. It's still a fledgling partnership, a developing partnership on the right. On the left, we don't know. It's either Cresswell and Anderson or Cresswell and Fornals. So, but they can double up. So can we get the overlaps? Can we get the overlaps, the undercuts, all of that sort of stuff, and outnumber them there? That will be interesting.
Yeah, it's where the game's going to be lost potentially, is the middle of the park, because I know, like you said, they don't get forward, but they do sit on the edge of the box. They do get their wing backs. They get Doherty and Johnny right down those sides. Yeah. And then if you get the ball and you win it, your midfield, this is where you're then in trouble. You're relying on Souček and Noble to be outside the box up against Neves and Moutinho, who've all got a really good shot on them as well. You let one of them hit it from distance, you're in trouble. So you need to make sure that you're clued up on the second ball, if you like. Just so people watching know, it's now Brighton 1, Arsenal 1. Lewis dunks the equaliser. There's 15 minutes left there. This is where it gets nervous. I'm going to be like this for all 9 games going. So I'm going to be watching the results of the other. Like I said, could be a way to get sent off as well. That was a dodgy tackle and he's on the booking. But back to the game. Yeah, I think we could lose the game in the middle of the park today, and if we are going to do that, like you said, we're going to have to win it down the wings. We're going to have to try and utilise Bowen. I really do think we need to get Bowen up against Saiz one-on-one as much as possible, and if Antonio and Anderson are up front, or even just Antonio up front, I think he's got to try and get over there to help Bowen, because Fornals doesn't have pace. There's no point trying to get Fornals running at a right wing back. He's just not fast enough to do it, and it's not his fault. He's better at other things, which is cutting inside and creating chances. So let's not have Fornals running at someone when, even if he goes past him, the guy can probably catch him anyway. Let's get Bowen running past him, so that when you're past him, you're done. You're out the game. You've got to rely on your teammate to come cover you. So anyway, what's your final thoughts on it all and stuff? What's your final thoughts? You've seen the lineups, you've got the feelings. What are you thinking?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to say thank you to someone on Twitter who gave me the ability to watch it on Now TV for messaging me. So thank you for that. So I've got West Brom and Birmingham on at the moment, which is 0-0. So I'm pleased for that. I'm going to have a squeaky bum about that Brighton game now, I've got to say. Now, it's weird, isn't it? You start off, and that's really what would I finally sum up. I'm getting more nervous as it goes on. It really feels like we've not played football for a long time. I cannot... Yeah, this is a really, really bizarre one. I'll be quite nervous. I'm going to sit down The first 10 minutes are going to be vital, but I do feel I agree with what you said. That's why I said about their 3 outnumbering our 2. But the more I think about it, and what you said about the game being won and lost in the middle of the park, yes, I can't help feel the decisive moments are going to be wide. Though.
Yeah, I didn't mean we'd win the game in the middle. I thought that's where we'd lose it, but we would win it out wide. If that makes sense. I don't think we're going to win it in the middle of the park. I don't think we're good enough. Even if we had someone else in, even if it was Fanal, Solchek and Noble against Ndonka, Moutinho, Neves, we wouldn't really fancy our chances on a toe-to-toe with them. I think they're better than us. But out wide, I do fancy us with Anderson, Antonio, Fornals and Bowen. I actually hope to see them interchange, to be honest. I actually hope if Bowen runs in behind, doesn't get there, Antonio comes back and covers him a little bit, because then that keeps the other team guessing. You don't know, 1 minute you're up against the left footer, the next you're up against the right footer, 1 minute you're up against a guy who's going to try and cut in, then you're up against Antonio who's going to knock it past you and run. It's completely different, and it's the worst thing as a defender is when you don't know what you're dealing with and it keeps changing all the time. I think our bench is really good, Gonzo. I know you said you'd rather not have a Jetty, but we've got Yarmolenko in there. I'd happily see if we need a goal. Yarmolenko comes on up front. I'd happily be okay with that. We can move Bowen up there or whatever. So our bench is really, really strong. We've got a good. Listen, Balbuena might not be fancied by David Moyes, but I still think he's a good centre back. We've got Fredericks in there, Wilshere in there, Lanzini in there, Snodgrass in there. We've got some real good talent on that bench, and this is where if come the hour mark we are drawing or something, Moyes can win the game using his substitutions. Fingers crossed he does. Listen, Wolves are slow starters in matches. They are slow starters. They've, like I said to you in the Patrons video earlier, they've scored one of the least amount of goals in the first half of this season. I think it's 12 goals. I think we're on 18 or something. But they've gained the most amount of points from losing positions out the whole league. So the first half is vital for us, because the second half you're probably going to see a better Wolves than you've just seen in the first one. My only concern is the water breaks. I've seen again every game I've watched so far, and all 6 of them, because this is my 6th one now. The water breaks has changed it. There's been a team on top, water break comes, and the other team gets a little bit of mojo. That worries me a little bit. I think you've almost got 20 minutes from the kick-off. You've got 22 and a half minutes essentially to take advantage, because then momentum stopped dead. So Allier's injured, but he's supposed to be okay for Tuesday, Sebastian Allier. I don't think it's a big injury. I think he's alright for Tuesday. Obona's injured, should be alright for Tuesday. So we're going to start wrapping up there, but we will be live in 45 minutes. Charlie and Tom will be live on this channel doing a watch along. So they'll be giving you the commentary, they'll be giving you your opinions as to what's happened. So if you don't have Sky, come back just before kick-off and interact with the live chat, interact with Charlie and Tom for the whole duration of the game. They'll be telling you what's happening and what's not happening. Then straight after the final whistle, myself and Gonzo will be live with a different video, which is the review. We'll be live. So there's plenty of content for you on Hamish Chat, so stick with us, stay here. This is your one-stop shop for the whole of your match day. If you've enjoyed this though, drop a like on it, subscribe if you're around here, and Gonzo, I'll see you after the game, and let's go watch Charlie and Tom, and West Ham obviously. We'll catch you in a bit.